Senna is a really cool character, but do you know everything about her? Today, I will explain you Senna. Senna's passive is pretty simple. You can gather souls. Those souls are called mist. You can gather them by clicking the enemies twice, so one and then gather their soul with the second auto, or you can drop them naturally by minions dying nearby, monsters dying nearby, epic objectives, monsters like Nash, Drake, and such. You can also gather it by killing minions as well, but the chance is slightly lower. Usually playing her support is better than playing her ADC, just keep it in mind. After 20 stacks of mist, you're gonna get some advantages, such as more attack range, critical strike chance, and so much more. What I want you to understand though is that since your range increases, you want to use attack move instead of attack move click, because as your range is gonna change throughout the game, you wanna see and check every time how much range you're adding up on yourself. Because maybe you're starting with this range, but later on into the game you're gonna have way more, and you wanna play around it. Since your champion also has really low attack speed, you can see it here, I have 0.72. I will say that on a really end game environment, you will have maybe 1.2, something like that, like it's kind of capped. You can easily use attack move without any problems, even if you have to click a bit more, because again, the champion is quite slow, and the most important thing when it comes to Senna is how you space and how much distance you can actually keep against the enemy. So make sure to use this type of attack move and not the other one. Senna's Q is one of my favorite abilities. You can both heal and deal damage to the enemies. For example, in this case, I'm gonna use Q, heal my target and deal damage to the other. The most important thing when it comes to Senna Q is that, of course, you can gather soul with it, so you can Q and gather souls, the same as a normal auto, and you can use wards to actually land your Q. So I'm gonna cast Q on the ward, and I'm gonna hit the enemy through that. This is really important because you can practice some kind of insane drop shots and you can get some really unexpected kills. The same applies with towers. You can place an enemy here and then use Q in this way. Of course, you can do it against the enemy tower. Senna W is pretty simple. You simply want to press W towards the enemy, and after a few seconds, the guy will be rooted, and everyone that's actually near to him. The most interesting part about this spell is that if the enemy target dies right away, you are gonna root everyone that's near to him right away. So in this case, I'm gonna put this minion low and show you that you can actually root the enemy in this way. You see? So I rooted this guy by doubling the minion and rooting him instantly. This is really good, especially if you're looking for a gank. Senna E is pretty straightforward. You're gonna go into the mist and you're gonna get some movement speed by doing that. The skill has a really long cooldown and you can also hide your allies into it. It's really strong. You simply have to time it really well. Senna Ultimate is basically Senna Q on steroids. As you cast it, you will have a huge projectile going towards both the enemies and the allies, shielding allies and dealing damage to the enemies. Just keep in mind that this is a projectile. That's really important to remember, because if you're actually aiming, for example, from bot lane to top lane, such as in this case, it's gonna take some time to actually reach the point where you're gonna hit the guy. So it's not instantaneous, let's say. It takes some time. Another really interesting thing is that you can gather souls with Senna Ultimate. That's not really important if you think about it, or at least it shouldn't. But let's suppose you wanna gather some souls. You can simply ult, and you're gonna collect them in this way. Did you know everything about Senna? Let me know down in the comments if I made any mistake, and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.